So here's the story, guys. Went to Morton's Steakhouse last night. Got a 22-ounce Chicago-style bone-in ribeye steak. Ate the whole entire thing. Had a little bit of bread, had a little bit of broccoli, a little bit of potato, and then the next day, today, this morning, woke up 2.2 pounds lower than my lowest prep weigh-in thus far. So far, the lowest prep weigh-in has been 174.8. This morning, 172.6. Wow, 2.2 pounds lower. That's intense, especially considering it was from a high, yesterday was a high fat, extreme, like a really high fat, like double to triple the amount of fat that I normally eat in a day. But the whole reason was, just super low weigh-in today. Yesterday just was one of those days where whoosh, and then this morning super low weigh-in. It's probably not necessarily from, you know, doing high fats or anything. If anything, it could just be from, you know, a really low stress night, a really relaxing, chill, feel good, having a good time kind of night. You know, just staying hydrated, and just the body was ready to get rid of that, I guess, water weight that the weight loss was masking, and that happens quite often. You know, you'll be experiencing fat loss and tissue loss, but not necessarily weight loss on the scale. And then you have a refeed day, or just a really chill, relaxed day, or a series of days where maybe you take off from the gym and your cortisol is kind of resetting, your hormones are getting back on track or whatever, you get a good night's sleep, and then whoosh, super low weigh-in. So quick mirror update. All right, I'm gonna turn the camera around, guys. Okay, legs are starting to come in now. Like all of a sudden, it's pretty crazy. All of a sudden, literally, legs are starting to come in. I think this is pretty intense. Like, I wasn't actually expecting these legs to come in. The abs are, you know, the same as always. They're kind of always one step ahead of everything else. But the legs doing a good job is where I'm kind of freaking out. So, damn, even the glutes are starting to look pretty decent now. So that's really awesome. I'm excited. Today is a refeed day, and since I haven't gone to sushi this week so far, yesterday we went to Morton's instead, and I did have that super low weigh-in this morning. I'm definitely going to have a refeed today. I might go to sushi. It just depends if Megan's going to be available for sushi or not. If she is, we'll definitely do sushi, guys. If she's not, I'll do the typical Chipotle. So for breakfast, I'm having my typical shake, but I'm also adding 3 rice cakes to it for more carbs. So I'm having the typical stuff. I just got to throw in kale, but in here we got some oats. We have half a banana. We got mixed berries. We'll have the kale. We have some creatine. We have some whey protein. I'm going to throw in just a little bit of cottage cheese. No, not cottage cheese. What the hell? Greek yogurt and a little bit of apple cider vinegar, and we'll be good. Alright guys, a little surprise posting update. Sorry I didn't give you a little disclaimer that, hey guys, about to be half naked in this next scene. But here you go. This is the physique at about 13 weeks out from my first show. And I'm really excited with how things are looking right now. I have the camera set at about belly button height, which may be lower than what I set it at last week. So I think what it does is create a leg dominant feel. If you have a camera higher up, it might create a more upper body dominant feel. And if you have the camera really low, it probably really has a leg dominant kind of feel. So I tried to keep it somewhat balanced and put it around, you know, belly button, mid body, just to get a good feel, as well as have a little bit more realistic angle at which the judges will be looking at me. And in fact, when I'm on stage, they'll be even lower than this, so I will have to practice and remember that. But here is the front lat spread, which definitely has grown into one of my stronger poses over the years, mostly just because of leg growth. This is looking pretty good right now too. Front double biceps, looking good. Time for some side poses. Here we go.
Definitely, I feel like I've brought my calves up, even though they're still nothing that impressive. I still feel like I've really brought them up. Hamstrings, brought those up. Man, everything has been brought up, so I'm super happy about that. And by the way, I hope that the current setup is fine in terms of the videos. I think I'll be separating kind of knowledge slash tutorial slash, you know, macro, like instructional type videos. I've separated those from more of my personal Matt versus my personal transformation videos like this. So I think it'll be better off that way, as well as keep videos from getting close to the 1 hour long, you know, area. So I think it'll be better for all of us. So, and yeah, I think the hamstrings are looking good here too. Able to actually see some lines in there, whereas in the 2013 prep, I don't think we saw like anything back there in terms of like definition. Like I've never seen hamstring definition in the past, so that's really awesome. And right here, I kind of wanted to redo that back double bicep because it didn't seem like I angled my biceps down towards, you know, the camera and where the judges would be. And that's a really big mistake that a lot of people make on stage, is they don't angle themselves back and down towards where the judges are standing. And I still didn't do the best job there, so I still need to practice that. Got to remember where the judges are at, and feature especially the back double bicep pose towards wherever they may be standing, or towards wherever the camera specifically is. So man, I'm always a huge fan of this like side pose. So after every side tricep, I gotta hit that side pose. It's just one of my signature things at this point. And yeah, this isn't one of my favorite poses, the one you just saw. This one I like a little bit better. And this abs pose is probably one of my favorite poses. And it's insane how much my legs just seem to pop out overnight, specifically just over the last couple days to now. It's like, what? Did that really just happen? So I'm actually really excited about that kind of progress that I've been having. This most muscular, looking good. And that is the physique at about 13 weeks out, guys. Thank you.
My current split has been legs push pull, off, repeat. So 1 day off per week. Although this week I actually just feel like doing back today. So it's going to be legs pull push, off, repeat. Simply because I think I want to hit Gold's Gym today. And I like their back machines there. And also there's a grocery store right next to Gold's Gym, and I have to buy some romaine lettuce. So the real reason I'm switching up my schedule is to get romaine lettuce. No, but with this current split, it's pretty easy for me to decide, okay, do I want to do the push before the pull? It doesn't matter, whatever. I'm pretty quick at recovering anyways. Plus it doesn't really matter. Trying to get my 5-minute journal. I'll include a link in the description box. If you want to check one of these out, I actually get paid for the affiliate if you end up purchasing, so there's my disclaimer, which thank you if you end up using my link. It's just a little thing that I fill out every morning and every night. I start the day off writing what I'm grateful for, write a few goals, write some daily affirmations, and then at nighttime kind of reflect on how the day went, like what I accomplished, what went well, and what I could have done better. And I found that this helps me just kind of ground myself a little bit. And also I've been meditating a lot lately. I try to do it once in the morning and then once at night. And I feel like it helps a lot. And I'm able to be more clear throughout the day and not be so, I guess, reactive and clutter-minded. And that's one of my huge issues, is I'm constantly jumping from one thought to another, constantly worrying about the future and these different things. So meditation's been helping, and this is something I've been doing for like the last 4 or 5 months. The 5-minute journal, link in the description box. I highly recommend checking it out. They did it in a very clever way, so it's just really easy to do every morning and every night. It takes just like a minute or two, so definitely check that out. Good? Mm-hmm. So today on Snapchat, I've covered a few different topics. I've covered like carb cycling. I've covered just beginner lifting. I've talked about progression methods, and I'm covering hell of stuff on Snapchat. So you guys definitely make sure you're following me on Snapchat, because I'm just dishing out the good stuff on a regular basis lately. And if you're wondering about carb cycling, shit, I'll just give you a quickie right now. Carb cycling is simply the idea of having different intakes of carbs on different days of the week, and that's it. So that's the definition of carb cycling, would be if you ever happen to have more or less carbs on a given day of the week. So technically everyone who doesn't even track their food intakes carb cycles, because their carb cycling is going up and down. Now the deliberate manner of carb cycling involves, of course, tracking your macronutrients, so your fats, carbs, and proteins, and then really deliberately having specific days where your carbs are higher or lower than what you might call maintenance carbs, right? Or the amount of carbs that puts you at maintenance calories, or even the regular level of your cutting calories. So let's just say if 2750 calories for me is where I'm at in terms of nice cut, where I'm losing around 1% body weight per week. So 2750 is that sweet spot. A version of carb cycling could be like this. 1 or 2 days of the week where I have 2550, a couple days of the week where I'm at 2750, and then maybe 1 or 2 days of the week where I'm at like 2950, or even 3250, or maybe even 3350, like a super high day. There's really no like strict way of how exactly to carb cycle. Simply have one like high day, or 1 or 2 high days, a few low days, and then maybe 1 or 2 like medium days, or just low days and high days. Or you could do what I'm doing, which is have 6 of the days that are the same at low. Like for me, it's 2750, and then I have 1 refeed day, carb up day, at 3250 calories, where the carbs are 100 or maybe even 150 above the other days. So all those are different versions of carb cycling. Neither of them is the better. None of them are. You have to look at like fat loss on a continuum, as well as a bit of cause and effect. So yeah, what we're mainly looking at is the overall deficit over the span of time, and we track time usually by days and weeks. So if the overall deficit in a week is basically the same, whether you carb cycle this way, or this way, you're gonna get basically the same results in the end. So that, once again, there's no superior type of carb cycling in terms of what's actually going on in your body physiologically. Now, in terms of adherence, there may be different methods that might be better for some people compared to others, and this is what you end up paying for when you, in my opinion, you should be paying for things like these, but when you end up paying for little carb cycling meal plans and stuff like that, what you're buying is some dude just taking your regular carb intake and then shuffling it up and down, but in the end you're in a deficit, and that's what's really doing the work. It has nothing to do with certain carbs being higher or lower on certain days. It's simply that the average of your calories has you losing weight, losing body tissue, because you're exporting more energy than you're importing. Does that make sense? So just like intermittent fasting, and I covered this on Snapchat 2 days ago or yesterday, it's a simple tool. It's just like intermittent fasting. It's a specification of what you're doing with what you have, okay? You're not actually adding anything. Adding steroids is a completely different idea compared to carb cycling and compared to intermittent fasting, because with, let's just say, supplements or steroids, you're adding something totally different to the game. You're totally changing the game. But when it comes to carb cycling, all you're doing is taking your allotted carbs anyway, and you're playing with them. And intermittent fasting is simple. You're taking your time, you're taking your eating windows, and you're playing with them, okay? So intermittent fasting, I'll cover that real quick. Intermittent fasting is simply, it's a broad definition kind of term. It can mean anything. It basically means there are certain times of the day where you're not eating, literally. That's the definition is intermittent. So not all the time, but Sometimes you're fasting. Sometimes in different periods of time you're fasting. When you go to sleep, you're fasting. When you're not eating, you're fasting. But the idea that people sell and buy products involving intermittent fasting is that it's funny. Why would you buy a product telling you how to? Anyways, basically, intermittent fasting, the popular term and the popular, I guess, consensus of it is generally trying to fit all of your food within a 4 to 8 hour time window. So that's basically it. And for a lot of people, that can be beneficial in helping them keep up their deficit in terms of adherence. Adherence is king. Deficit plus adherence is king when it comes to your weight loss goals. So sometimes people can't find it doable to eat a breakfast, lunch, dinner, and still stay on their cut for whatever reason, right? But for some people, they find it easier to not eat anything when they wake up, go to work, get off work, eat a big meal, train, eat another big meal, eat a dessert, and go to bed. And that's how they find themselves able to maintain their deficit. Does that make sense, guys? I really hope it does. The way I'm explaining it makes complete sense to me. And for other people, maybe they eat when they wake up in the morning, and then they train, they eat again, and then within, you know, the first 4 to 8 hours of the day, they've eaten all their food, and then the end of the day, they aren't eating. Or maybe they eat within the first 4 hours of the day and the last 4 hours of the day. Just every single different combination is available to you. And what it comes down to is you're gonna lose weight if day to day, week to week, month to month, there's a deficit on average. Knowledge bombs.
So lately I've been doing my cardio before my workouts for a couple different reasons. One is I found that it doesn't negatively affect my upper body workouts at all. And I know this from self-awareness from 2 previous Contact preps, 2011 and 13, and possibly hundreds of cardio sessions, right? So this is data that I have in my mind. I had this awareness. What else about this cardio before the workout versus after? I do like the idea of getting my meal in, my food in, as soon as possible after the weights itself. So me putting the cardio before the weights allows me to do that. So I do like that idea in terms of kind of maximizing fat loss and muscle retention, if theoretically it were to go that way. It's all, I guess, theoretical. But in application, I find that it seems to work out pretty well for me in terms of adherence and doability. And I've also found that doing the cardio before the weights is really enjoyable because it sets me up for the weights and it kind of excites me for them. Versus when I do the weights first, it almost is like the cardio is depressing. Like, because you're like, oh shit, I gotta do the cardio now. I found that cardio is so much more exciting when I do it first because I'm not doing the cardio all tired. First of all, I usually listen to an audiobook or maybe a show I'm watching, but usually an audiobook. And I'm taking notes, I'm active, and I'm having a lot of fun, which is another reason why I'm putting myself at 4 cardio sessions a week at this stage in prep versus dropping my food. Cause and effect, one or the other. You're either dropping food and or increasing cardio to maintain your deficit, because over time your deficit becomes a maintenance. But anyways, I just found it super enjoyable. The weights aren't negatively affected, and I'm doing cardio better. 2011, 2013, it's almost like I kind of dreaded the cardio. Not really, it's just it wasn't fun. But anyways.
What's up and welcome back, guys. You know, this week I actually elected to do legs pull push off, simply because on this specific day I kind of wanted to go to the grocery store that's right next to this Gold's gym. So I was like, hey, I'm gonna go to Gold's and I'm gonna do pull. So I like to go to this gym because the pull exercises are so smooth, they feel so good. I just love doing them, specifically these Hoist machines that you'll see me doing. I even like this one very, very much.
Now I did 115 pounds on there. It's not a lot, but I'm doing sets of 12. I believe I did 4 sets of 12 with a small little pause in the fully contracted position. It looks like I'm rowing really high here, which I kind of am. What I did was the first set I pulled really high, and then each set I put my body higher up on the bench just a little bit so that the elbows were a little bit lower in relationship to the body. So after that, did the hoist pull downs right here. Boom, I love this machine as well. Like the stretch and contraction is incredible. These hoist did their entire lineup just amazingly. I don't know how they did such a good job. Like my lats are on fire on every single one of these exercises. You can see the veins running through them, and the feeling is absolutely incredible. I did 5 total of 5 sets of 12 with this. 5 sets of 10. I did 3 sets with this weight that you see here. Dropped it down, I think, for the 4th set, and then I even dropped it down for a 5th set. And then this is another hoist machine. It's like a mid row where you're pulling it kind of in a mid-way pattern. So not super low, not high like on that chest supported row. That was the first exercise I did. On this one I did 5 sets. The first 3 or 4 were 12, and then the last set was 20 reps. And I went a little bit lighter for that one, focusing on a really good stretch, really good squeeze and contraction of the back muscles. So that was it for this. The lighting is of course on point in this gym. The next thing I did were these right here, kind of superset with bicep curls. And lately I've been doing these basically every push and every pull workout. Now the interesting thing will be to see how this workout is affected, or how my next workout is affected based on this, because tomorrow, the workout after this one, I got a push workout, and I didn't even consider. Because I normally do, this pull workout after the push workout, without having a push workout after that pull workout. So we'll see how my push workout's affected by doing these side laterals here on this day. My pull workouts are never really affected that negatively from doing side laterals the day before, and generally I do 5 sets of 15. And basically my method with these is simply just being able to maintain the weight that I'm currently using for 5 sets of 15. I mean, hopefully during the entire contest prep. That would be a very good sign, for muscle retention. Now here, just doing some fully supinated dumbbell curls. I think I did with this weight 12, 10, 8, 7. I think that was, or it was either that or 10, 8, 7. But I generally aim for usually 10 to 12 reps lately on dumbbell curls like this. Sometimes 1 or 2 of the last sets, for a total of 3 to 5 sets, I might do maybe even a set of 15 or something like that. But generally 8 to 12 is where I aim for on these. I totally done with doing heavier and going for less reps than that. So over time I'll be probably doing even lighter dumbbells as we go on, simply just to get more total volume in, instead of just clinging so hard to the high weight on the dumbbell. So I'm focusing a bit more on like overall volume during this prep compared to just sticking to the weight that I'm using and letting volume just fall down the drain. So that's one major difference of this prep, and so far I'm really enjoying that and how I'm doing it. So after that, I did these dumbbell hammer curls. I did 5 sets of rear delt flies that aren't pictured. I did 2 or 3 sets of cable bicep curls, and normally also I do 2 or 3 sets of cable hammer curls, but we left the gym at this point because we were there for a while and we had to go to sushi and grocery shopping a little bit. But the pump was definitely feeling great. Skin was popping and everything was looking good.
Alright, so done with that workout. Got 4 rice cakes, got a protein shake, and I believe we're gonna go and grab some sushi real quick. Let's do it. Alright, so I've got a funny story. On my Snapchat yesterday or the day before, I gave probably too much information. Now I've been talking about how, like, is it the chicken teriyaki?
No. It's like fried chicken.
Oh, that's not. Oh, excuse me?
Excuse me.
Alright, so I got a weird story. Yesterday on Snapchat, I was telling a story about, So yesterday on Snapchat, I was telling a story about basically, you know, like stomach/bathroom issues. And then today, I get a text from Paige Hathaway. Fine, I'll talk. Alright guys, this is a refeed day. Doing the post-workout meal. Besides the rice cakes and the whey protein, here at Ninja Sushi, Roseville, California, my favorite sushi place. #1 rated sushi in Roseville. Check out what we got. We got a tuna roll, a little bit of eel sauce. Over here, rainbow roll, no avocado. Over here, the Nick Kim roll. It's too hard to explain. Over here, we got the chicken teriyaki meal thing. Diet Coke, sauces on the side. This is how I refeed, baby. Quick pro tip, guys. I think it was yesterday, last night, or this morning that I went to go and quote-unquote quick add macros in my FitnessPal, which I thought was, like, you know, a new feature that should have been there from the beginning. You know, every bodybuilder thought to themselves, hey, quick add macros would be awesome. And I actually had a way to do the quick add macros before they offered one, but apparently that offer is only for premium my FitnessPal users, which means you're paying $6 or $10 a month, or like I think if you pay $60 for the year, something like that. But still, there's several different ways to quick add macros. One way is to create 3 different foods and then combine those foods into a meal. So basically, create 1 gram of fat as a food in my FitnessPal, create 1 gram of carb, 1 gram of carbohydrates as a meal, or as a food, 1 gram of protein as a food. And then you turn that into a meal, and then what I could do is I could basically just go to the fats and say, I think that meal had 5 grams of fat, for example. And you set it so, of course, you know, the 5 fat, you know, how many calories per gram of fat. So you basically tell it, okay, I want to create 1 gram of fat as a food. It's going to have 1 gram of fat. It's going to have 9 calories. And you do the same thing for carbs and protein, telling it, okay, this 1 gram of carb is going to contain 1 gram of carb and have 4 calories. Same thing for protein. Anyway, so let's just say that sushi meal, let's just make some shit up at the top of my head. I could change this later. 25 grams of fat, whatever. Right there, boom. Okay, now carbs, if I had to estimate the carbs, okay, we'll say about 50 grams of carbs, 45 to 50 grams of carbs per each item that I had. I had 4 total items. Let's just say about 200 carbs. So, boom, 200 carbs right there, boom. And then protein, we're gonna say about 75 for all the fish plus the chicken that I ate. So I just put in 75 servings of 1 gram of protein, boom. So now this is what I've basically eaten today so far in terms of all of the food. And actually, no, I have to add a little bit more because I had some more breakfast. I had a couple rice cakes for breakfast, which I'll just add them here by saying, I think I had 3 rice cakes. So total today has been 7 rice cakes, right? 7 rice cakes, 7. Boom. And that puts me at about 2470 calories estimated. Although, if I wanted to play it safe, yeah, that's good. Actually, that's good. Like, I didn't get fat on anything in my meal. The chicken might have had a little bit, but somewhere between 25, maximum 35 grams of fat. So I'll just say 30 for a little bit of safety, just in case. Which actually means that I still have some carbs to hit today. Let's see where I'm at on the carbs real quick. So 351 carbs, 40 grams of fat, 185 protein. I actually have a little bit of protein to hit, and I have, actually, in fact, that it might have been more than 75 grams of protein, but in terms of carbs, I could probably have another 75 to 100 carbs. All right, so no, I'm not done yet. I'm gonna have like about 7-8 rice cakes, 7.5 rice cakes. I think she stole some. And I have in 1 scoop of whey protein. Pretty much caps me off at 225 protein, about 450-ish carbs. And my fat is still remaining relatively low. Of course, it's a guesstimate. It says about 40 here. I'd say the fat is anywhere between 35 and 45, maybe 35 to 50 max. So it's probably about 45 grams of fat today. And 450 plus or minus, maybe minus 15 plus 25, somewhere in that range carbs. Protein's right around 225. So, yeah. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you're still here with me, I just want to tell you one last thing, and that is to follow me on Snapchat. My username is Ogusfit. And on Snapchat, I've been answering just tons and tons and tons of questions, dropping tons of knowledge, having lots of fun, lots of interaction with you guys. And according to the feedback that I've been getting here on Snapchat, on Facebook, Instagram, shit, even in real life, apparently it's been fire. It's been fire, you guys have said. So I'm super excited at that incredibly positive feedback, and I'm pretty confident that you guys will enjoy it. So add me on Snapchat, Ogusfit. And I think in the next video, I am probably just going to throw on a YouTube video 2 or 3 of my latest Snapchat stories from the last few days, including today even. So definitely check that video out when it comes out. Leave me a comment and let me know what kind of feedback you'd like me to read from you. And yeah, follow me on Snapchat, Ogusfit. All right, see you guys.